Okay, ladies and gents, it's time to put another AC in the window, in this window. This unit was 8 years old, and I was going to just put a fan in it. The fan was making a bunch of noise, but the bolts that hold the fan in place, see if I can get over here. These bolts right here, if you can see that or not, I don't know because the sun is right in my view camera. Anyway, okay, there's a bolt right here, one right here, one on the other side. As you can see, I've sprayed this bracket because this bracket here also is rusted all the way out on the other one. And so I've sprayed this with some primer. I'm going to come back with some enamel so I won't have that problem again. If I need to replace the fan on this thing in 8 years, I can come back and do it because this thing was completely rotted out, and it's going to cost more money. Well, what's going to cost more money? It's going to cost about half as much money to repair that other one as it was just to buy a new one. It was working fine, efficiently, no problems. Other than that, the fan was making noise. It was a growler. So the bearings had gone out in the engine, in the motor, excuse me. And so it was time to replace it. You probably see what I'm doing right here. You probably have no clue. It looks like mud or something I put on there. It's not. This is door sealant. And I like to use sealant on this styrofoam because I believe this styrofoam breathes well enough to allow the outside odors to come in. So I'll seal this thing up. I just use DAP to seal these things, and I use a real thin layer of silicone, just regular rubber silicone sealant to glue this thing back together. They don't glue them together at all, and you probably lose 40% efficiency from it sucking outside air in from the back side of this housing right here. So also, I like to spray these condenser coils. This is evaporator coils, but I like to spray the condenser coils real well also because they're outside and they're going to start to corrode and stuff if you don't do that. So yeah, I'm just doing some preliminary work on this thing to make it a lot more efficient. Again, these things just sit down on here, like so, however hell it goes. But there's another piece that I've got down on the floor that I've already got done too. Sits on top of the fan, like so. Sits on top of that piece. Sits on top of that piece, and I just put a real thin layer of silicone in case I ever have to take it back off again to glue this thing down so it doesn't suck air in from the outside, because it's going to suck it in from right here. And why they do that, I don't know. It's just stupid. I guess so you can get to the fan or whatever if you need to. But so anyway, that's what we're looking at right here. This thing was 350 bucks. It's 12,000 BTU, which is plenty big for this room. This room is 14 by 13 or something like that. It's not a real big room, so it'll take care of this room easily. And that's what I had in it before. The other one was a 12,000 BTU. So this is by LG and I think GE. It's a General Electric. So GE makes this thing, and we'll see how it does. The other one was a LG, and it lasted for 8 years, so pretty happy with that. I think it was 300 bucks back then. They haven't gone up a whole lot. But if you put these window units in professionally, like they're supposed to be, because you don't want any air going over this evaporator except from inside your house. So you have to completely seal off this evaporator from the outside. Anything on the outside of this evaporator coil has to be completely sealed off. So I've gone over this before, videos past. I am a professional AC guy, but I do industrial air conditioning, not HVAC. But I know, you know, industrial air conditioning is bringing a room down to a certain temperature and keeping it there. And HVAC is simply creature comfort, as it would be in your vehicle. It's not the same thing, but so this is way more forgiving than industrial refrigeration. But again, if you take these simple precautions by sealing everything, any air coming in from the outside, then you make your air conditioner 70% more efficient than what it was. So. Alright guys, and then also these vent holes right here, you can see on top, here's this other cover right here. I mean, you can see I've already got the stuff on it, but you can see these little slits right here. What I'll do is I'll take aluminum mosquito netting and put the mosquito netting on the inside of this of this cover, this big metal cover, and make sure that I have all these vents covered so the mosquitoes can't get in here, because what happens is the mosquitoes get sucked in through the fan right there, and the fan turns them into mush and then impales them into the condenser core back there. And believe it or not, the guts of them little critters will erode that condenser core if you're not, if you don't take this little precaution that will make your air conditioner last much, much longer. So keep it cooling efficient for years and years and years. Okay guys, so I'll make another video when I get further along with this thing. It takes some time. I also like to paint the coils back here, the evaporator coils. Where I'm at, we get a lot of saltwater rain, and so I've got a good primer on here, and then I'll come back and put a good enamel on here, and that'll prevent the corrosion from affecting this condenser core for years and years and years. I won't have to worry about this thing for many, many years. So the other one lasted 8 years before the motor went out, and motors go out, so there's not a hell of a lot you can do about that. So alright guys, I guess that's about all I got for right this minute. I'm going to continue on this AC build and get this thing together and hopefully in the window today, because my wife has probably got some video gaming she wants to do. Alright, so I'll holler at you turds later. Bye. Okay, so I want to do a finish up video on this AC unit. It's installed, and this thing is jamming, man. It blows really cold. Works great. These side panels right here, they give you those crappy plastic accordion type things, and I never use those. This is put in on a steel frame that's tied to each wall and then tied to the air conditioning unit, so it cannot be pulled out. I mean, you could pull it out with a car or something if you could find a way to wrap a chain around it or whatever. Of course, you could destroy the window or whatever and get it out, but you're not going to just use a hammer or something and knock this thing out here. It's not going to happen. But so really, that's all there was to it. Just prepping this thing to go in the window, and then you just put it in the frame. And those pieces of metal are just sheet metal, and this thing comes with some insulation that's sticky. It has an adhesive on one side of it. It's about a 1/4 inch piece of foam, real thick foam, real dense. That's the word I'm looking for, not thick but dense. And I just cut that out and glued it to the back of these pieces of sheet metal that I cut out, and then used a urethane to glue it in. It's not nailed or anything like that. It's just urethaned, and getting that urethane out of there is a pain in the you-know-what. It's as hard as getting a nail in there or whatever, so I found that to be the best way to do this. I'm going to do the same thing on the outside of the window, because I have double pane windows in this house. So I've got to go out and build, which I already have it cut and painted and everything. All I got to do is go out and use the adhesive to glue it to the window frame on the outside. It'll look exactly like this, except it'll be the outside of the air conditioning unit. So far, this GE, I like this GE real well. I didn't care so much for the LG, the Frigidaire. I like the Frigidaire, and I like the GE. Don't care so much for the LG type air conditioner. This one too, as well, I don't know, I think it's made in America, as is the Frigidaire, but I think a lot of the parts are made in China. But anyway, the best one that I have is the Carrier in the front room. That is by far the best air conditioning unit that I have. Of course, it's a 25,000 BTU AC unit. This is only a 12,000 BTU AC unit, and the one I have in the other bedroom is a 12,000 BTU. So I have 12,000 BTU units in both the bedrooms and a 25,000 BTU unit in the living and dining and kitchen area, and it keeps it plenty cool in there. This house did at one time have HVAC in it, but it was 20 years old, and they wanted $16,000 to replace the heating and the air conditioning HVAC. $16,000. Let me say that again. $16,000. I laughed at them as I walked out the door, and that was one of the really reputable companies that I would allow to put a HVAC in my house. But I could have done it for about myself, probably for around $3 grand with a good 14 SEER AC unit, which is a more efficient unit. These are 12 SEERs that I have here, and for a window unit, that's actually pretty damn good for a window unit. 12 SEER for a window unit is really good. But again, this right here, this unit right here will work as good as any HVAC in this room because of the fact that I took it apart and did the things that I showed you I did to this thing, and then installed it the way here that I have it installed. I didn't use that cheap ass crap that they give you. I will have, this is metal and it's insulated on the outside, and then I'll have another sealed piece of metal or sheet metal on the outside of this, on the outside where the condenser, on the outside of the window. So it'll be completely sealed twice, and it's very efficient. If you set this thing up and make sure that all of the air that's circulating in your room goes through the evaporator and not being sucked from any other place outside the evaporator core, then it's going to work just fine. It'll work like just any other air conditioning system that you have. You just have to be careful about sucking in outside air and allowing air to flow around the evaporator core instead of through the evaporator core, because that's how it cools the air in the room, or takes the heat out of the air in the room rather. So basically that's it, guys. This is a done deal. I put this window unit in here because we're having some company down from California, and the other one that I had in here, the motor was going out in it. It was an LG, and the motor only lasted for 5 years, and I was going to have to replace the motor. As a matter of fact, I've got another Refrigerator in the garage, and I took the motor and everything out of that one, which was brand new. It's never even been in, but my own stupidity caused me to ruin that unit. Wasted $350 there, but I was going to take the fan motor out of that one and put it in the LG that was in here, but it wouldn't fit. And the one that was in here was rusted out so bad, the bracket that holds the motor in place was just gone. There was just no way I was going to be able to get it out of there without cutting it and welding it and a bunch of other crap. So I just gave that one to my next door neighbor. He was happy to have it, and my wife and I were blessed enough to be able to go buy this one. So it's working really well. It's you see right now it's on 74 degrees. I think it's 99 degrees outside right now. It's 74 in this room. So this thing works really well, and it seems to drop about 3 degrees. It'll go 3 degrees lower than what I have it set on. I actually have it set on 78, but it'll actually go down 3 degrees. I had it set on 76 so it would kick on, and then I put it up on 78, so it'll actually go to 81. Let's see, yeah, 81, and then it'll kick back on, and then it'll run down to 75, and then it'll kick back off. It's usually 3 degrees above the set temperature and 3 degrees below the set temperature when the compressor pump kicks off, and then it'll circulate the air in the room and keep the room nice and cool. It's working real well, real quiet, no problems. So that's all I got in this video, guys. I've got a video coming up on my boat. I'm still having issues with my boat, serious issues. I may very well have to pull the power head off of it. Looks like the crank seal is leaking air, or drawing air into the crankcase while it's running, which is diluting the fuel mixture. So I still haven't got that thing running right, but you know, no step for a stepper. If I got to pull the power head off and replace the crank seals, then that's what I'm going to do. I mean, that boat's a project, so I was hoping to get it running when my buddy came down from California, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. As a matter of fact, it's not going to happen, because I'm just, you know, I'm not going to kill myself for working on that damn boat. So anyway, that's all I got for now, guys. Everybody has a great day. I got this thing back in. I'm sorry I don't do better instructional videos. I hope I explain what I'm doing well enough. It's just hard for me to do an instructional video, having this thing on a tripod and trying to work the camera and do the work that I'm doing at the same time is a giant pain in my you-know-what. And I get involved in doing this and building this thing and getting my mind set on this, and I just get it done. I'm like, oh shit, I was going to make a video. But anyway, that's why I have window units, because they wanted $16,000 to install